in part 2, I'm going to walk you through where you can find some wonderful resources in Cengage Now and what your assignments are going to look like and where you can find all of the study tools. So when you log in and you get into the assignment tab, this is what your view is going to look like. So under assignments I can take now, that is what the will default to. So it will list any assignments that are available to you. And again, once you pass one assignment, the next assignment will appear in this tab. If you'd like to see all of your assignments, just click on the All Assignments link, and that will open up and show you when all of your assignments are available, when they're due, the number of times you're allowed to take them, so on and so forth. Over here under Assignments I Can Practice Now, I have created a practice set for you for each chapter. These are not graded. They're purely there for your practice, and you can take them as many times as you want. You can check your work as many times as you want. Students have said in the past that this is one of their favorite features to use before an exam, so they feel like they're really prepared. So you'll find those available to you throughout the entire semester. Up here at the top under Grades, that is where you'll find your grades for every assignment, quiz, and test that you take. So if you click on the Grades tab and then you'll click on your grade for a given assignment, it will reopen that assignment. It will show you the answers you've entered. It will show you what you got right and wrong. It will show you the correct answers, and it will provide you some feedback on how to arrive at the correct answers. Again, for any lecture assignment, the correct answers become available to you at 9 a.m. the day after the due date. For all of your homework assignments, you can come in as soon as you hit submit on your first attempt, and you can review those assignment results right away. In terms of your quizzes and tests, you can come and see the correct answers the day after the due date at 7 p.m. again by clicking on that Grades tab. The Study Tools tab is where you'll find a lot of wonderful resources. So you'll find the ebook. So if you decide not to purchase the hard copy of the textbook, you can just purchase the ebook. This ebook is actually very interactive. So if you've never used an ebook before, and again, if you want to try it out during that free trial to see if you like it first, you can do that. So when you click on a chapter, you're going to get to the chapter contents, and you can click on any part of the textbook to learn more about it. So you can click right in and learn more about it. You can scroll through the pages. You can also highlight in the ebook. So if you wanted to highlight this, you can choose the color that you want to highlight it in. If you want to highlight something and then add a note, you can say that's important. And that's going to save it to this section of the ebook where you took that note. You can also highlight something specific and have the text read to you. Or if you want the entire page read to you, you can just click on this icon up here in the right-hand corner, and it will read the entire page for you. You can also increase or decrease the font size. You can bookmark the page, and you can also print the page. Anytime you want to get back to that chapter content, you click right over here on the left-hand side, and you can get into any area of that chapter. To get back to the table of contents, click this home button at the top, and you can select a different chapter that you want to move into. Over here on the right-hand side, you'll find some additional resources, so you can search the textbook. Again, if you want the textbook read to you, you can also change the speed that the textbook is read to you, and you can also change the voice if you prefer a different voice. There's also a dictionary. There's a glossary. For every chapter, flashcards have already been created. So you can flip the card, you can hide the card, you can shuffle the deck, you can actually create your own cards. This is wonderful kind of practice to go through before a quiz, for example, just to make sure you have a solid understanding of the material. And all of your highlights and notes that you've taken can be found here by clicking on this little highlighter icon called My Notes. You can actually print out your notes. Anything that you've highlighted or added one of those sticky notes to, it will tell you the date that you made that highlight or sticky note, and it will provide you a little blue arrow. And if you click on the blue arrow, it will actually bring you to that highlight or that note that you have taken. So there's a lot of great things that you can do right here in the ebook. If you click on the adaptive study plans, every chapter has a study plan that's available to you. So you can click on Start Studying, or if you've already started, you can click on Resume Studying. and you'll see all of the learning objectives covered in that chapter. If you click on one of the learning objectives, you are going to see learning objective specific resources. So the certain section of the textbook that talks about that learning objective. They have what they call show me how videos, which these are short videos that show you how to do, for example, a journal entry or to post to the general ledger. So these are wonderful, and a whole bunch of these are actually embedded right into your homework assignments that you're going to be completing. Also at the top here, you can take a quiz, and this quiz is not graded. This is purely for your benefit. It's multiple choice questions, and so you just answer the questions that you have here. And after you finish, in this case, all 20, you'd hit submit quiz, and then you can see how well that you've done. So you can see I didn't do so great. I haven't passed any of the learning objectives because they're in red. So now if I click on one of the learning objectives, I can see the questions that I answered associated with that learning objective. So this one I got incorrect. It will show me what answer I entered and what the correct answer was, and some feedback onto how to arrive at that correct answer. It also is going to suggest that I watch some of these show me how videos or read a certain section of the textbook, because it's suggesting it by saying it's not completed since it's grayed out. Once you actually go ahead and watch some of these videos, that's going to change color, and then you can retake the quiz. And if I now pass, let's say, learning objective 1, this dot will turn green, and so will the bar up here. So you will start being able to track your progress as you go through. Again, you can look through and see what the correct answers could have been or should have been, and what you should have already watched will have a check mark. Anything that they're suggesting that you look at will have a grayed out box there. When you look at your assignments, and again, I'm going to change to my view for now. So again, you have lecture assignments and you have homework assignments. So when you click into a lecture assignment, this window is going to appear. So there's some important information here, so make sure you read through this, and then you're going to start the assignment. You have 4 questions to complete in the assignment, and each question has a few questions in there as well. So you'll simply click on the link here, which is called a Tell Me More video. You'll watch the video, and then you'll answer the questions. You're also allowed to check your work 1 time per question. And again, there's 4 questions in this assignment. So for question 1, if you answered all 3 questions of question 1, you can check your work and see if you got your answers correct or incorrect. And it will also provide you some feedback. Down here, please do not click on the Submit Assignment for Grading button until you've actually answered all the questions in the assignment. So in this case, all 4 of these questions need to be answered before you submit it for grading. You can save your progress and come back to it at a later time. Please don't submit it until you've answered all of the questions. If you have saved your progress and exited, please make sure that by the due date and time you log back in and actually submit it. The system will not submit your assignment for you on the due date and time. You have to do that. So please make sure you submit it, because if you don't submit it to me, I don't count it as a grade because it does not get submitted. So please make sure you do that. You also have homework assignments, and homework assignments is going to be where you apply what you've learned about in those lecture assignments. So again, you'll notice that you have more than 1 question in here. So when you're looking at something like this, you actually can change the formats. This is what we call multi-panel view. So you can actually change the sizing of these different panels so that you can have the directions right beside what you're actually doing. So you don't have to do any scrolling up and down or anything like that. Also at the top, you're going to see some resources. So again, there's a link to the ebook. If you click on this link, it's going to bring you to the exact section of the textbook where this topic is covered. So you don't have to search through your textbook looking for that information. It's included right here. Those show me how videos that I just showed you are in the study tools section. They're also embedded right into several of your homework assignments. So you don't have to save and exit your work, go into study tools, trying to find those show me how videos. They're already embedded in here for you. And it's going to show you how to solve a question very similar to the one that you were working on. There's a calculator built in here for you, and you can print the item if you'd like to do it out by hand first. And to make this bigger or smaller, you just click on this arrow. Again, you do not want to submit your assignment for grading until you've done all, in this case, 8 questions. For your homework assignments, you're allowed to check your work 3 times per question. So for each of the questions 1 through 8, you get 3 check my work. So use them sparingly, and it will provide you some great feedback. So really pay attention to the feedback that it's giving to you. In an item like this, anything that would be shaded red or highlighted in red is done incorrectly. And if you click on that cell, it's going to tell you some feedback on what is incorrect. Also, you'll notice at the bottom of all of your assignments, lecture, and homework, there's a button called Email Instructor. So if you've watched the Show Me How videos, you've checked your work, you've looked at the ebook, and you're still struggling, all you have to do is click on Email Instructor. What this does is that it takes an entire screenshot of the question that you're currently working on, not the entire assignment, so not all 8 questions, just the one that you're working on that you clicked Email Instructor for, and it's going to bring you up an email box. So you can type me in a question and say, Professor Quinn, I'm stuck on part 2, could you help me? You don't have to explain the question, anything like that, because when it gets sent to me, I can see your question, I can see anything that you've already entered in, and I can see whatever you've typed in the email box. I will respond to you, and when I do, it's going to go back to whatever email address you log into Cengage Now with. So if that's a personal email address, just be mindful that some students have found that the first couple of emails that I sent back to them actually went into their spam folder. I typically respond to every student's email within 24 hours, so if it's been longer than that, please just check your spam folder and indicate that emails coming from Cengage Now are not spam, and those should correct that issue for you. Also, as I mentioned, I've created a practice set for every chapter for you. Again, this is not graded as indicated here. It's purely there for your benefit to practice the material before a test or a quiz, or if you just want to get some extra practice before starting one of the assignments, you can use these practice sets. When you log into the practice set, for example, for chapter 2, you see that there are 40 items that are in here. You do not have to answer all 40 questions. That's just how many are there in there for you, so you can pick and choose what you want to review. So for example, if question number 12 was something that you struggled with and you want to get some more practice, you can go in here, just do question number 12. You can check your work an unlimited amount of times, but it will never give you the right answer no matter how many times you check your work. So if after checking your work 4 or 5 times, you still can't get the right answer, you can go right here and hit Submit Assignment. It's going to give you a warning, because it always does, and yes, you can submit it for grading because it's not actually being graded, so it doesn't matter that you haven't answered all the other 39 questions. You submit it for grading, and right here you're going to see View Assignment Results. This will open the assignment back up, and any question that you have attempted, it's going to tell you what you've done right and wrong. It's going to give you the correct answer and also give you feedback regarding how to arrive at the correct answer. When you go back to the assignment, you're going to have the option to retake that chapter 2 practice set. When you do for that second time and you open up the practice set for the second time, every question, so all 40 questions, for example, in chapter 2, are now with new numbers. So every time you submit a practice set for grading and retake it, it's regenerating all of these questions with new numbers and information. So you can go right back to question number 12 and take it all over again, and the information in here has slightly changed. So there's an unlimited amount of practice that you can do in Cengage Now, both in here in terms of the practice sets that I have and also under study tools. So again, there's a lot of wonderful resources that are embedded in here for you. I tell my students all the time that take online classes that Cengage Now is a wonderful resource, but it's only wonderful if you utilize it. So please take advantage of all the resources that are in here, the show me how videos, the tell me more, the practice sets. And when you find something that has really worked well for you, share that on Blackboard under that discussion post, best piece of advice, because that really might help one of your classmates. If you have any questions getting registered or anything like that when we're getting started, please get in touch with me. I look forward to working with all of you this semester.